Hello and welcome to another in the series of training thoughts from Halo Cycles. What I want to talk about today is what I think is one of the most underrated ways of helping you be a better rider next season than you were this season. And that is measuring in kilojoules or calories the total amount of work you do over a period of time. Now, most of you will have heard the term that training needs to be progressive, i.e. to keep getting fitter and stronger, you need to keep doing more and more. Now, obviously we can't do it forever, but that is the general theory of progressive training, that you build on, you do more this month than you did last month, and you do more next month than you did this month. So that's a really sort of interesting way of thinking about things. Trouble is, most of us don't do that. You know, we get into the habit in the winter. Once we've had our off season, we may be doing track league, we may be doing a club run, we may ride to work or ride to school. We've got a coach giving us a couple of sessions, and they're pretty much the same all the way through the winter. And once we get used to doing whatever that amount of work is, we stop improving, because the way the body works is that you apply a load to it, you go for a hard ride, you break down your body at a muscular and cellular level, you give it some rest, it recovers and grows back, but it grows back stronger. But once you're used to doing that same amount of work, it won't grow back any stronger because that isn't stressing it anymore. So you have to keep adding to that load. So how do we think about that in the winter? Well, you know, we've all got heart rate monitors, and most of us, or some of us, have got power meters. And those give us a figure of either kilojoules or calories, dependent on the sort of software you're using. And to be honest, it doesn't really matter which one you look at, because 1 kilojoule of work is the same as a 1 calorie, and you know, 1 calorie equals 1 kilojoule. So whatever unit your software or your head unit gives you, go with it. But the key thing is to look at that total amount of work, kilojoules done over a week and over a month. And what I ask my riders to do, and what I do myself, is try and do more each progressive month through the winter. So the 4 months from sort of October to February through the winter, each month I want to do more total work than I did the month before. And that does many things, but what it really does is shape the way you think about how you ride your bike, because you've got whatever sessions you're going to do, and to be fair, they will change. You know, we start off quite low intensity, with 1 or 2 at the most intense sessions during the week, and it, you know, builds towards the season with a lot of threshold work or near threshold work before we may start time trialing or road racing or whatever it's going to be. So the underlying training changes, but what I also ask people to do is say, I want to increase the total amount of work I've done. So I look at the kilojoules, and it may be 15,000, 20,000 one month. If it's 20,000, I want to do 22,000 the next month, 24,000 the month after that, 30,000 the month after that. And what it does is, thinking like that makes you want to go and do a little bit more. You look for reasons to get that little bit of volume up. Now, one of the things this sort of thing does is, by definition, it's stressing you. It's making you work harder than you have before. So when I'm doing this type of work with people and myself, I sort of think of training in much more the conventional 3 weeks on, 1 week a little bit less. 3 weeks on, 1 week a little bit less. And that enables me to take the pressure off at the end of those first 3 weeks of a month and have a slightly back end and easier last week. And then I start again. But when I start again, I know that the next month is just going to be a little bit more time on the bike, a few extra miles than it was the month before. But I guarantee you, if you start thinking like that, and you train like that, and you have actually achieved that, when you get to your racing season, you will be fitter and stronger than if you flatlined it and you did almost the same every month.